So this video that I'm doing on the fundamentals, I plan to do in 2.92 because there are some differences. And so right now I have 2.83.9 loaded. In fact, you can always click on the Blender logo and bring up the splash screen in case you ever want to see your Blender version. But one of the things I wanted to show is the difference between edit mode and object mode when using boxcutter between these two Blender versions. So you see me cutting in edit mode, and the cuts are destructive. And what this means is that I can grab these edges and immediately bevel them. I can grab this edge, bevel it, grab this edge, push it down, grab these two edges, bevel them, grab these two edges, S, Z, 0 in order to flatten them and begin creating my shape. However, if we go over to the newer version of Blender, which I thought was actually loaded already, here we go, we can actually go in edit mode, bring up boxcutter, and we can see that now we're able to cut non-destructively, which means that Blender is now able to show booleans that are live in object mode in edit mode. And so we can actually keep cutting off of this even though this object is still very real. You know, there's no mesh being cut out of it yet, so that's why you don't see any geometry I'm able to grab and play off of. In fact, if we jump back to the previous version just to refresh your memory, here I am performing edit mode operations and able to grab the geometry after the fact, whereas in this version everything is able to just happen. And the interesting thing about this is it does allow us to have some really interesting behaviors, but it also changes the way that Blender will look when you watch me use it versus if you're using like an official version. You can also change boxcutter to be destructive in edit mode, and then whenever you perform a cut, it will cut just like you saw in the other version of Blender. However, for the most part, you don't see me working in destructive because we have tons of tools on the hop side that assist with applying modifiers to a certain extent. And I always play off of those whenever it comes to applying. So usually I keep everything live until the moment I don't need it live, and then we have tools that will smartly apply those for you. But just wanted to do a small video just showing some of the differences between 2.90 or 2.83.9 and 2.92. Another one is that there's a whole solver for fast and exact. So if you're using boxcutter in one of the newer versions of Blender, you will have a Boolean solver option where you can actually choose what solver you use. Just a word of warning though, while exact is capable of being very accurate and very exact, it also is known to make your model significantly slower just by having it present in your modifier stack. So whenever you're playing with the algorithms, that's something that you want to keep in mind as well.